it's Catherine, and today I'm bringing you another monthly wrap-up. In the month of February, I read 9 books, 5 of which were children's books, as well as 2 romance books and 2 young adult books. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first book that I finished this month was Unloved by Peyton Corinne. It follows Maddie and Ro. Maddie is a hockey player, and we meet both of these characters in the first book in the series, Unsteady. I gave this book a 4.5, 4.75. I really enjoyed it a lot. However, I think I just wanted a tiny bit more. But also, this book I think really sets up any further books that are coming in the series. Especially for Bennett, I am obsessed with him, and he's been a side character in the first 2 books. And I just really want his love story and more about him and his family and his friendship with our other hockey players that we know and love from the series already. So yeah, I just wanted a little bit more, but I really liked how it started and the starting point of the book and how we kind of get reintroduced to the characters, not only who are going to be our leads in this book, but also we get reintroduced to our main characters from the first book and the rest of the characters involved in this friend group slash hockey team. Get handled also the topic of grief really well. I don't know how it's not linear, and I could relate a little bit to some of what the characters go through. There also was a moment, it was a really sweet moment between Ro and her dad that just reminded me of something my grandpa and I. So that hit me a little bit in the heart. I would definitely recommend this book if you're a hockey romance type of person, or even if you're trying to get into a sports romance. I think this series is really fast paced in the writing style, as well as just even if you love sports romances already, I think they can be really enjoyable for anyone who picks it up. The next books that I'm going to talk about are actually the children's books. So there are 5 of the Step Into Reading books. They're all Disney Princess themed. I didn't give any of these ratings just because they are geared more toward kids and early readers. And I mainly have them because they came in a collection that I got. And I thought they were pretty cute for the most part, and yeah. I don't really have much thoughts on them, to be honest. The next book is one that I hadn't read, but I've read other Lynn Painter books, and that was Better Than the Movies. This one is a young adult romance that follows Liz and Wes. And they are neighbors, and basically Wes agrees to try and help Liz get this guy Michael that just moved back that used to hang out with them a lot when they were kids. And I thought it was a very good story. I thought it was really cute. I'm excited to read Nothing Like the Movies, the second book, and see them after what happens at the end of this book. I also really loved how at the start of each chapter there's a movie quote, because Liz is very much into rom-com movies, so I thought that was really cute. I loved that little detail. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really cute, and yeah, I would definitely recommend it if you're someone who already likes Lynn Painter or is just looking for a cute young adult novel to read. I would definitely recommend this one. I gave this like a 4.5. Yeah. The next book that I have, I'm still technically still listening to the audiobook, but it's my reread of The Upset But Never Quieted by Becky Albertalli. I first read this when it came out, and honestly, I forgot a lot of this. Like, listening to the audiobook, I've realized that, I don't know if it's because of so much time between when I first read this and now, but I just, like, forgot a lot of things that happened. I think I just remembered, like, essentially who the main couple, like, is. So, yeah, since I am still listening to the reread, I don't have a rating for this yet. I don't even know if I will rate it, just because it's more so I'm listening to it for, like, nostalgia purposes, not necessarily, like, to rate the book. But I'm having a good time reliving the story, and yeah, it's still, I still really enjoy it. And the last book I have to talk about for my February wrap-up is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This is the first book in the Maple Hills trilogy. I actually started with Wildfire when it first came out, and then I read Daydream last year. And I actually skipped this book initially when it came out. I don't know if it was because of, like, the hype or what. I ended up giving it, like, a solid 3 stars. I don't know if it's because I read the other 2 books first and, like, really enjoyed those, so then going back just, like, wasn't as appealing. I don't really know. But it's still, like, an enjoyable read. I did really love seeing some of the characters that I have come to love in the other books and, like, in this friend group. Just, like, learning more about them. For Robbie, for instance, like, I knew he had been in an accident, because we do know that he uses a wheelchair, but I had no clue, like, what it was, what happened, until, like, going back and reading this one, because Robbie is a great friend to Nate, our main male character. Also, just, like, how Russ started getting called Muffin by Anastasia, I thought was interesting. I love Russ, like, and Henry. Like, seeing more of Henry and, like, how his friendship with Anastasia and, like, the rest of the team started, I thought was, like, really interesting and appreciative. And I absolutely loved JJ and Anastasia's friendship. Thought they were a hilarious duo, and definitely mischievous, just to get, like, on Nate's, like, to see what Nate would do. I thought that was, like, really funny, and I loved that he would teach Anastasia how to cook, and I thought that was just, like, really sweet. And yeah, yeah, it was a solid book. Again, like, I think anyone could like this book. Again, like, I rated a 3, which to me, like, with my rating system, like, is a book that I enjoyed. It's just I don't feel strongly, like, love toward it, but it was, like, a solid read. Also, in the month of February, I actually started reading Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I am maybe almost a third of the way through. This is the PS edition of it. So, since I'm not that far into it, I don't have, like, that much thoughts on it, but this is definitely a book that I plan to finish in the month of March. Also started a e-arc copy of a book from NetGalley that comes out in May called In Case You Read This. It's a young adult novel by Edward Underhill. So far, I'm about halfway through that one, so that's another book that I plan to finish in the month of March. Another book that I started in February was the Charles Apollo book number 3, The Burning Maze. That one I also am not very far into. However, I think for now, I don't know if I'm going to finish that one in March. I might wait till April to finish that one. Kind of just depends on my mood. However, one other book that I do plan to read in March, I keep hearing about it and seeing it like everywhere. It's First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I have never read this author before. I also had never read Ali Hazelwood before, and this is my first book by her. So yeah, I keep hearing about this book a lot and like seeing it a lot, so I figured I would pick it up and see what I think. So those are all the books that I read in February or started in February that I plan to finish in March, as well as just like my March TBR. It's not very big. I do have a reading goal for this month of I want to read at least 5 books, so that would be about a book a week or so. But as far as the other 2 books I would want to read, I don't have those planned. Those are kind of just going to be whatever I'm in the mood to read after I finish the 2 that I'm currently reading and First Time Caller. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone.